Hi, this is Suzanne Williams with Essential Oils, Health Matters, and Living the Wholesome Life. And we are on week 19, day 4 of our positive, peaceful affirmations. We are following Dr. Susan Lawton's positive, peaceful growth calendar that you can buy at Oil Life or Aroma Tools. If you love, honey, can you fix the light, please? If you love essential oils, if you love um, positive affirmations, and if you love music therapy, it's really one of the best books to get because it combines all three so perfectly. I think you're gonna have to be careful about that outlet. Anyway, so the affirmation that we've been working on all week long is I am working with my other hand. And so that means we're trying to do more things with our non-dominant hand. I have many times suggested brushing your teeth in the morning with your left hand or your non-dominant hand, and then at night with your right hand. I found what works for me a little bit better is brushing my teeth first with my left hand, like doing my best job that I can, and then just kind of finishing up with my right hand. And I just feel better about that one. But if you've been trying to eat in the morning with your left hand, if you are trying to brush your hair with the left hand, just maybe try doing things with your left hand first. And if you have some fine tuning that you need to do, you can do it with your right hand or your dominant hand. But we're trying. This gets us from our logic brain, which is often in our our left brain, to our creative problem-solving brain, which is in our right brain. It brings out different gifts. It helps us think differently, and we're pairing that, bringing in the use of our non-dominant hand for the whole entire week. We're also pairing that with bringing in the gifts of non-dominant people or aspects of our lives. So if you have people that tend to be a little bit more shy at letting their voices be heard, that kind of seem to get run over in conversations, we're trying to bring them more in, and their ideas more in this week. If you have gifts and talents that you've kind of neglected, you haven't really nurtured them because you're just kind of running with some other ones, let's go ahead, let's just nurture some of those neglected talents this week as we're trying to bring in the gifts of the non-dominant, right? Trying to bring everyone's gifts to the table. So that's our affirmation for the entire week. For today's affirmation, the affirmation is, I am open to a slower pace to get what I want done. So I'm going to read that to you again. I am open to a slower pace to get what I want done. And with this, I think that what I wanted to talk to you about with this one is that things don't always happen in the timing that we want, right? We don't always learn how to be this amazing pianist as fast as we want to. We don't learn to be an amazing housekeeper as fast as we want, or an amazing cook as fast as we want. We don't learn to be an amazing doctor or accountant or lawyer or architect or whatever it is that you do. We don't learn that often as fast as we want. And so just having patience with the process, just trusting the process, that if we've done our due diligence and this is the plan that we've kind of worked out, this is the best plan to get us there, we can hold our road, we can trust the process. Yes, we can rethink things as we need to rethink things, but we can trust as we are slowly, baby stepping, maybe just even inching toward our goals that we're going to get there. There's a saying that says, you can fail your way to success. We were talking about that the other day with my children, and I don't know what what even sparked the conversation. We were asking, hey, what's one of your fears? And one of my children said that their fear was a fear of failure. And I'm like, hey, you know what? We don't really need to be afraid of failure. We can fail our way to success. And I have to say, I definitely fell my way and failed many times during my day. But I keep trying, and I think as we get knocked down, we keep trying. We get knocked down, we keep trying, right? We're gonna eventually get where we want. We're gonna figure out, hey, what knocked us down? What led to that? How can I game plan for that? Like, we can be our own coaches, or we can get coaches that can, or whatever professionals we need to help us see where are we getting knocked down in life and how can we move forward. So, let's not be afraid to go at a slow pace. I know I often tell you stories about Xander, who's my littlest one, youngest of 9 children, and he is 4 right now. So we were at story time the other day, and I tell you lots of stories about story time too, but anyway, we were at story time the other day, and they were coloring, and then they were cutting out what they colored. Well, Xander has a right hand that was damaged, like a few days before they were born is what the doctors think. And so he can't use his right hand. Can't move his fingers, can't use his right hand. And his right hand too is significantly smaller because from the elbow down is not growing because he's lost so much in there. And so he wanted to cut, right? Because everyone else is cutting and he wanted to cut. And I know he's 4, but we haven't really worked with scissors yet. But anyway, there he is. We're at story time. He wants to cut. And I'm like, what? Well, how do you cut with one hand? Right? Like a problem that I never even thought of. And so at story time, our best fix is that I held the paper and he used his left hand to cut. And that worked, and that made him super happy, and he was so happy. Like, yeah, Mom, I'm cutting, right? But then their hands, with scissors to cut it out, and it worked. We may not have all gifts that most people else have, right? Most people do have some hands, some people don't. Most people, some people have other gifts that they have, and if we don't have the gifts naturally that other people have, we can still get to our goal. There is a fix. On our own, with our own power, we can do it. And so definitely, I am going to be working with Xander to help him learn how to kite. And he was actually just doing it. He came to the table, and I super quick tried to shoot a video, but of course, as usually happens, or as often happens, maybe not usually, but as often happens when Mom grabs her phone to tape something, child is basically, oh, I'm done with the activity and on to something else. But like even Xander yesterday, he was putting his elbow down to hold the paper to cut. I don't think it's going to be a hard thing to teach. I think it's going to be this is what we do. This is what we do when we cut things out. Anyway, so I'm saying we don't need to have every single gift that everyone else has in order to do things too, and do things on our own power. And it's okay to go slow, and it's okay to fail our way to success. There is another saying that I totally love, and it's go slow to go fast. And I'm thinking it comes from a movie. What movie does that come from? Go slow to go fast. Go slow to go fast. I don't even know. Is it in Cars movie somewhere? We've watched those Cars movies so many times. Anyway, so I want us to think and maybe journal about today. What can we go slower in our life to really go faster? Maybe, and I thought of some things that to go slow to go fast. So the first thing I thought was gardening, right? So let's say that you want to plant a garden right? And you have the ground, and in your mind you think, oh, I have ground, I have seeds, I have water, so you just throw it out on the ground, right? How's that going to work for very many people or very many vegetables, right? It's probably not going to work very well at all because we didn't take the time to actually see, oh, how deep does this seed need to go? Sometimes we need to slow down and really look at the process and look at what really is best in the situation. Like, and we can't treat everyone the same, right? Like watermelon seeds need to go a certain depth, and like if you're planting an apple tree, that needs to be planted at a certain depth. Or if you're planting, I don't know, pumpkin seeds, maybe those need to, I'm not a gardener, I'm not a gardener, I wish I was, but I'm not. But I still know this much, at least this much of gardening, because I've planted lots of gardens, or at least a handful of gardens, that we tend to forget to water and weed, which so they don't grow anything. But anyway, I at least know that different things need to be planted at different depths. And that's the same thing with people. All people can't be treated the same, right? Like if we feel like we have one policy for our children when it comes to parenting, it's not probably going to work very well because everyone is different. Okay, the other thing I thought about gardening is not only do you need to plant things at certain depths, so you need to do your due diligence in seeing, well, when do I, the other thing is too, when do I plant this? Like all vegetables need to be planted at, or fruits need to be planted at different times of the year. Some I think like peas and stuff like that can be planted earlier. I've never done it, but I admire people who do. And then like maybe peaches or watermelon might need to be planted in a much warmer part of the year. So again, we need to do our due diligence, not only with gardening, but with so many other things in our life. Really thinking, why isn't this working for me? And or I want this to work best the first time I try it. So let's really do a lot of pre-thinking on this. And then the other thing I thought of when it comes to gardening is you have to nurture the soil, or I guess you don't have to, but if you want your plants to be nourished and grow like the best, right? You want to get some type of fertilizer out there, some type of, I don't know, I'm not a gardener. So whatever it is that you put in the soil to nourish the soil, you want to get that. So again, that's way slower than just throwing the seeds out, watering it, and hoping things grow, right? But sometimes we have to go slower to go faster. We go slower to get better results. And then I was also thinking of something else. In many people's lives, I think. So I'm thinking of how sometimes in our lives we can say, oh, my life is so busy, I don't have time to say morning prayers. Oh, our life is so busy, we don't have the time to say our family prayers. Oh, my life is so busy, I can't take the time, I can't take the time to read my scriptures. I have way too much on my plate. I can't take the time to read my scriptures. What does that do for us? When I can't take the time, life is so crazy. I'm just gonna, I can't take the time to go to church, right? So again, I feel like all of those things, when we cut out the spirituality, the basics in our life, we actually go so much slower. I think it's the time when we take the time to pray, when we take the time to read our scriptures, when we take the time to go to church, when we take our time to build a relationship with God, right? Because that's what all those activities are trying to help us do, build our relationship with God. And when we take the time to build our relationship with God, life goes better. We get more inspired. The things that we're trying to do, we're able honestly to reach them better and faster. So if you're looking at your day and you're thinking, oh, what don't I have time for? Don't cut out of your day the things that really matter most to you, that bring the most happiness to you, that make the biggest difference to you. And so please don't be cutting out the spirituality. I think that it does take some time out of our days, right? It takes some time out of our days to pray. It takes some time out of our days to read scriptures. It takes some time out of our week to go to church. but it's in taking that time that we're able to be renewed, that we're able to push through hard things later on in the week, that we build community and friends that sustain us through the hard times. So really, spirituality lets us, it's a go slow to go fast type of thing. And then I thought of one other thing that sometimes is slow, and that's building relationships, right? We all want our children to love us and obey us and respect our opinions, right? And and we all want to have a good enough relationship with our children that if we can see that they're moving into a dangerous or a path that will lead to unhappiness, that they will trust us enough that when we try to counsel and guide them, they will come back to a path of happiness. And I just don't think, and experts say that it's in taking the time to build their relationships that really help your children be guided by you through life. I was reading the book. It's called Covenant Keepers. It's by Wendy Watson Nelson, and I think it's called Covenant Keepers. Anyway, it's something about covenants. I'll put the book in the comments. And she was talking about how this dad who was like setting kind of promises, making promises to his children. And so he took basically each of his children one by one, and he said, I promise I will always try my best to be a good dad to you. I promise that I will die for you. Trying to, if I ever need to try to save you, I will, and I promise I will always be faithful to your mom. I promise I will, I will, I don't know. I wish I had the book in front of me, but I don't. But I promise I will. If you come to me with a problem, I will try to help you solve it, unjudgingly, and kindly, and whatever. So the dad made a lot of promises to the child, as he took each child in one at a time, and then he said, "What promises would you like to make to me?" He said, "Oh, I'm promising you this. I want you to promise me that." No. He said, "This is what I, from my heart, want to promise you, that I think may help you. What do you, from your heart, do you want to promise me that?" And a lot of his children said, "I promise you that," and it was a guy, "I promise you that I will always respect womanhood, and I will always be virtuous in my relationships." And I can't remember everything that the child or the son promised back, but the promises that we make to each other, the relationships that we build with each other, can help us through things. And the promises that we make to each other can help us stay on the good path and remain our integrity sometimes when the going gets rough. So don't be afraid. So let's all take the time to build a relationships with our children, build a relationships with our spouses, build a relationships with our in-laws. Let's all slow down. Let's take the time. And let's take the time to make promises. Let's take the time to make promises, and let's show our family members that we are going to keep them. Okay. So, I think that everything that I wanted to say about the affirmation for today, which is, again, I'm open to going at a slower pace to get what I want done. Being open to go at a slower pace. Being open to go slow to go fast. And I have two. You know that the song for the week is Pachelbel's Canon in D, because it kind of goes from a very simple melody to a very complex. And as we're bringing in talents and thoughts of non-dominant things in our lives, oftentimes it goes slow. But then we go forward with so much better energy and so much, I don't know, I think I don't know, however you want to describe it, but we can go faster when we take the time to bring in non-dominant things. So that was our song for the week, which is Pachelbel's Canon and Tea. I actually have 2 songs for us for today's affirmation on being willing to go slow to go fast. And the first one is by FlyLady. I don't know if you've discovered her yet, but if she's wonderful to help us keep our house clean and clutter free, and just to stay on task and make our homes a better, more welcoming environment. And she has a song that's called Slow and Steady. I absolutely love it. Because it tells us over and over again in our song, even if we're going slow, but if we go steady, we will eventually get where we want someday. So that's one of the songs that we can choose to listen to today. The second song that I thought of, again, was one of my favorite songs, which is Slow Down by Sissell. And I'll put both of those songs into the comments for you so you can see them. So those are the songs in the affirmation for today. The diffuser blend that we're diffusing this whole week that goes along with going at a slow pace, bringing in non-dominant things is lemon, the oil of focus, 2 drops lemon, the oil of focus, 2 drops geranium, which is the oil of love and trust. Did you fall in love with geranium yesterday? Did you watch if you haven't watched the shout out on geranium, you're really going to want to go back and watch the shout out on geranium because it has so many emotional gifts. One of my new favorite oils. And then 2 drops of lemongrass, which is the oil of cleansing. And today we're going to go into the powerful emotional gifts that lemongrass brings to us, because it's such a powerful cleanser. Tomorrow, Friday, we always go into, let's call it Physical Friday. We always go into the physical gift of the 3 oils that we've been diffusing. But today we are working on the emotional gifts of lemongrass, and here is my sheet. So, doing a lot of study on lemongrass. Lemongrass helps those that are mentally stuck. It can help break up mental congestion. So if you're just like, I like my head, can't even think, right? Diffusing some lemongrass would be wonderful. It helps to let go of a whole lot of things. It helps to let go of the need to hoard. And I love this because we're a family of 11, but we only have 4 children at home right now. When I say 11, I don't mean 11 children, I mean like 9 children, 2 adults. But I guess we have in-laws too, like the people who are marrying into the grandchildren, who are a huge family now. But we only have 4 at home, but still, like, so many things get brought in, and we need to find places for them, and we need to declutter the things that we no longer need. So lemongrass, powerful cleanser. It can give us the emotional support to just say, you know what, those unmatched socks that we can't really find the matches to, it's okay to let them go, DI them. Well, okay, that means like come through to a thrift store. I know that the desert industries, if you have one near you, it takes a lot of things and it ships things to other third world nations where people who maybe don't have any socks at all would be happy to get unmatched socks, right? Do you remember when they went through that, the teens went through that phase where everyone wanted to wear unmatched socks, and you could actually go to Walmart. I don't know if you still can, but you used to actually be able to go to Walmart and buy packs of just one sock, like a whole pack of like that only had it had no matches in it. It was just like all okay. Someone gifted us with a pack of those, which was super cool for the teens. But I'm like, anyway, so. We don't need unmatched socks unless you love wearing those unmatched socks, and if you do, then keep them. I like wearing matched socks. So I'm like, if they don't have a match, it's time to release them to people who are into that or who would appreciate that. If you have, I would follow the FlyLady kind of counsel on let's just kind of eventually go through our rooms, and even if we can find like 15 things a day that we don't really need anymore, that aren't serving us, let's look around our communities. Hey, who can I give this to? People are always calling me up or texting me or whatever, saying, hey, Suzanne, we're getting rid of this. Would you like it? I'm always like, yes, we would love it. Thank you so much for thinking of us. Um, so so let's give it to our neighbors. Let's make friends with our neighbors, right? People love getting gifts. And it's always nice to say, hey, I have this, would you like it first? Um, and if you don't have people that you know that want it, which we often don't, we often like we just have like this DI bag again, a bag that goes to Desert Industries, which is a thrift store, and we just kind of keep the bag. And honestly, we're putting in things all the time and taking trips to the DIA to drop things off, um, because we know that if we're not using something, that thing's kind of like going to waste. We don't need it. We don't need it. We can release it. I was thinking, I know many people. I'm in my 50s now, and so many of my friends have parents who have died, and so they've had to go through and clean out houses and and everyone knows how hard that is, because you don't want to even get rid of anything, right? Some of us don't, because it was our moms or our dads. And yet, if we're keeping things that we don't really use and that maybe might not have, when we think about it rationally, maybe it might not have very much sentimental value, we can release those to thrift stores or to somewhere else where where people will love on them. I really do think that our relatives don't want their things to just be unused. I think that they want their things to go forward into the world to make someone else happy. I think it's one of the best ways of honoring our family members who have passed on. And so, if you're in that spot where you are having to clear out a home after someone has died, I honestly think that this week's diffuser blend is amazing, because you have lemon, which oil focus, keep you focused on the task. You have geranium, which is the oil of trust and love. Knowing that, feeling the love of the person who left, who's still alive in heaven, um, and feeling their love for you as you're going through this process, feeling your love for other people that they have for other people. Hey, other people are going to get to use and love my things. And then lemongrass, which is a powerful cleanser. You know what? Honestly, I'm going to kind of keep this lemon geranium lemongrass thing for times when powerful cleansing is needed. Okay, so again, back to lemongrass. It can help us let go of the need to hoard. It can help us declutter our own spaces, right? We don't need everything. We have everything ever that we've ever been given. Our house, our life is just going to be so cluttered. And no one wants to spend the time, take so much time in their life cleaning the clutter and moving the clutter and dusting the clutter, and keeping things that don't serve us and help us. So let's clean it out. Let's maybe 15 minutes a day. We're gonna say maybe we're gonna set the clock 15 minutes a day, and we're gonna clean out the clutter. Anyway, it can lemongrass. It can also help us let go of shame, right? We've all done stupid things in the past. We've all done stupid things in the past. It's part of being human. Okay, I know that Christ was the only perfect person, and he never did things stupid. But the rest of us, we've all done stupid things in the past, and some of us still have a great deal of shame. Maybe some of us a little bit of shame. Some of us a great deal of shame about the stupid things we've done in the past. Okay, can I give you a formula for that? It's called repentance. Let's repent of the things that we've done. Let's tell the people maybe that we're involved. Hey, that was really stupid. I'm so sorry I did that. If it's a major sin, let's tell our clergy about it. And let's make amends about whatever we've done stupid in the past. And let's move on. Let's let it go. And let's forgive ourselves. And let's move on. God doesn't want us to feel shame forever and guilt forever for every stupid thing we've done in the past. That just weighs our now down too much. Let's repent. Let's make amends. Let's forgive ourselves. Let's move on, right? And lemongrass, I think, can help. Prayer. If you've repented of something and gone through that whole process, and you really feel like you've done your best to make this right, and you're still feeling shame, you're still feeling guilt, you know what? I think that's when we turn to prayer. And Heavenly Father, can you please help me with this? But I think that lemongrass, being a powerful cleanser, can help us remember, hey, we don't need to keep feeling the shame and the guilt of something we've done our best to atone for. Okay, two, so it can help us forgive ourselves, right? Finally get over the stupid things that we've done in the past. It too can help us forgive other people. It can cleanse that anger, that bitterness, that whatever it is, that sadness of whatever someone's done to harm us, to hurt our feelings, to whatever, and can help us say, you know what, I don't need to carry that burden anymore. I'm giving it to you. I'm giving it to God. I'm forgiving you, and moving on. Right? Lemongrass, powerful cleanser, powerful emotional cleanser. So I love that another gift of lemongrass is it kind of works with our personal power, which means that it balances it out. So many essential oils are balanced oils. Like cinnamon can help if you have high blood sugar or low blood sugar. Cinnamon can balance it out. Lemon can help if you have high blood pressure or low blood pressure. Lemon can balance it out. And some emotional oils are balancing oils to your emotions, and lemongrass is one of them. So this is what lemongrass helps to balance. It helps to balance our personal power. So if you are over controlling, if you are very, very dominant and everything has to be your way, or you are super not happy, if maybe you tend to be a bully, I don't know. But and I think a lot of that comes from fear, right? I really do feel like the need to control everything can come from fear. Anyway, but if that kind of describes you, lemongrass can help you bring into balance to remind you other people's ideas are important to other people are important to, and be nice and be kind and be supportive, right? Everyone doesn't have to support you. You can support other people too. Okay, but if you're on the other end and you kind of feel like a victim all the time, you feel like your ideas can't be heard, you feel like that people kind of run over you, or put too much on you to do, or whatever, and you have that victim mentality, again, lemongrass is an oil that can reach in, help you bring back your personal power, and can balance out. It can remind you, hey, your thoughts are important too, and you need to let's start stepping up the game. Let's start bringing our personal power back. We don't have to live in victim mentality. We can bring our personal power back. So again, if you tend to be overly dominant, or if you tend to be victim mentality, lemongrass can bring you back where you see yourself as equal, where you have your personal power back and you change things. Okay, so that's one of the gifts of lemongrass. The last gift of lemongrass that I want to talk to you about today is that it can reawake compassion. Remember how it's just like a powerful cleanser of a lot of negative stuff, right? But sometimes, and remember how I said that it can break up mental congestion when you're mentally stuck and you're like, I just can't even think. Well, sometimes we get that way when with our emotions. Sometimes we've seen so many sad things in our lives, or bad things in our lives, that we get to a place where we almost don't even want to feel. We definitely don't want to feel compassion. And lemongrass. And let me give you some examples of professions that might get that way. So if you were a doctor, and you work with people who have a lot of trauma, maybe you have a lot of death in just natural death in what you're doing, and you feel like to protect yourself, like you can't be as loving to everyone else, because if you love them, it hurts so much more when they don't get better. You're a cancer doctor, I don't know, but in certain situations like that, people can close off their heart to protect themselves, and it doesn't. It doesn't protect them. So, some other occupations that can have emotional overload. I was thinking of mental health workers, right? People who, like therapists, who hear so many people's problems, and maybe it has the same effect where they're like, my compassion, I just feel like is stressed to the limit. I don't want to even hear any more problems, right? I was thinking too that judges can sometimes as their tenure increases, or as they've been a judge, they can lose some compassion. They can. I'm not saying every judge. Okay, I'm totally not. I'm not saying every doctor. I'm not saying every mental health worker. I am not saying every judge, but sometimes judges, after they've seen so many bad things, they think, you know what, you really are guilty, and can kind of start throwing the book at the people more, whereas they might have been more compassionate on people at the beginning. So if you're in a spot where you've suffered with a lot of emotional overload because you've seen a lot of really, really hard things, or you've seen a lot of really, really bad things, right? Lemongrass can help you cleanse all of those experiences out, and can reopen our hearts to feel compassion, to feel love, to be compassionate. Now, would I just say diffuse a lemongrass? And that's how I would say definitely we want to diffuse things for a lot of emotional issues. Would I say just diffuse it and your life's going to be hunky-dory and you're just going to be loving and compassionate? No. I always, 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 sometimes I forget to say it, but I always intend for us to use essential oils with prayer. Heavenly Father, please open my heart, helping me be compassionate. Help me learn the lessons that I need to learn from hearing all these things or seeing these things, and help me let go of the things I don't need to keep that are not serving me, right? So always, always, always pairing essential oils with prayer. Okay, so that's the very last gift of lemongrass that I wanted to chat with you about. Again, our diffuser blend for the week is 2 drops of lemon, the oil of focus, 2 drops of geranium, the oil of love and trust. Love that one. 2 drops of lemongrass. You love, don't we all love the gifts of lemongrass too? But 2 drops of lemongrass, the powerful oil of cleansing, emotional cleansing, physical cleansing. Okay, the songs that we're listening to for today are Slow Down by FlyLady. Oh, I'm sorry, Slow and Steady by FlyLady and Slow Down by Sissell. The song that we're listening to for the whole entire week is Pachelbel's Canon in D. The affirmation for today is, I am open to moving at a slower pace to get things done. And the affirmation for the entire week is, I am working with my other hand, bringing in all the non-dominant aspects that we can, bringing everyone's gifts to the table. Okay, this is Van Williams with Essential Oils Health Matters, living the whole life, telling us that I know no matter what happens in life, no matter what hits in life, we can slow down, we can get on our road again, and we can make it